Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth, oh yeah. Watch. God's people ain't that
obviously a saintly, godlike figure who's revered by all decent people. Why would she exclude you?
I really don't know.
Crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
Have such stressful jobs. How do you unwind to relax at some time?
I think their job is stressful. I think being the Wonder Bread representative might be stressful.
Not compared to a real job. I will not disrespect the people here that work hard.
This isn't a real job.
This ain't no real job.
Oprah Winfrey used to be the biggest name in the whole media world, the one person everybody treated like she could do no wrong. Her name alone carried weight, power, influence, status, the type of shine that made people watch their words before even stepping on her stage. But now the mood is shifting and the shift is loud.
Understand this person. So they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy. They're strong people.
Oprah said that if Trump wins, you may never be able to vote again. That is the craziest thing when you go back and watch him on her show, where she was encouraging him to be president.
Seize the opportunity. And that's why this is such a victory. Tomorrow, you will hear me doing the because it's a...
Comedians, actors, authors, and straight-up industry veterans are stepping out with stories that make folks look at Oprah in a whole new light. And they're not whispering either. They're talking bold like they've been waiting decades to let this out. One of the wildest voices pushing this conversation forward is Katt Williams. Katt been saying Oprah coming next once he turns his platform into a place of truth. And he's saying it like he knows something deep. He brings up how Oprah presents herself like some kind of saintly figure who's adored by everybody decent, but behind the curtain, it ain't all clean. Katt been saying Oprah has played a major role in Hollywood's control system, talking like she decides who gets through the gates and who gets left out without even getting a chance to speak.
Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth, oh yeah. Watch. God's people ain't that few.
And when Katt says it, the whole internet locks in because he got that energy that makes people stop and listen. His claims hit different because Oprah built her whole brand on being the uplifter, the woman who helps, heals, listens, and empowers. But Katt is out here saying that the smile, the calm tone, the I care vibe, that's all part of the game. He jokes that Oprah doesn't invite folks to her show unless she already owns the narrative.
To do this in my business. I'm up here doing something that nobody else in this business has the balls to do. I'm telling you something that you need to know.
That she ain't uplifting you, she's packaging you. And that joke stuck because too many people started replaying old interviews and noticing that she always had the upper hand, even when a guest came with their guard up. Some fans said Katt was being dramatic or over the top, but that argument didn't last long. Because one by one, big-name entertainers started coming forward with their own stories, not attacking her directly, but making statements that pointed in her direction like street signs.
People were saying, though, that you were on drugs, you lost your mind, you went into a mental institution. What is true, what is not?
Not on drugs.
Not on drugs.
Nah, not for years.
Okay.
No, I'm not on drugs.
And you weren't on drugs at the time?
No, not at all, not at all. I'm telling you, I was incredibly stressed out. Love is like a nutrient. And I was deficient on vitamin love.
Really? Were you really?
I'm all over, baby. Snap.
No, really, what was going on?
Man, a hero stumbles. Well, the cowards rejoice.
Condescend. And once Dave Chappelle's name entered the conversation, things took a whole new turn. Dave got history with Oprah, going back to the mid-2000s when he famously walked away from that massive $50 million Chappelle Show deal. The media flipped out, calling him unstable, calling him unpredictable, calling him every label except human. Oprah brought him on her show, and while it looked friendly on the surface, the vibe was off.
Crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
Fans went back years later and noticed Oprah pressing Dave with questions that didn't feel supportive. They felt like a setup. She pushed him about rumors, pushed him about mental health, pushed him about losing his mind, all while smiling like she was trying to solve him on camera. And when people connected Katt's words with Dave's old interview clips, the whole narrative started cracking open like a window, finally letting the truth in.
Own hair.
You got a little expertise right here, though.
I do not.
Whoa! I do not.
The energy shifted, the questions got louder, and suddenly Oprah wasn't sitting on that untouchable throne anymore. Dave Chappelle never attacked Oprah directly. That's not his style. But everything he said about Hollywood after that interview made folks look right at her. Dave talked about how the industry will break you if you don't play the game. He talked about how powerful people smile in your face while shaping your whole image behind the scenes.
The very first time we started our friendship, stayed up that first night and talked all night long, she has always been happier for me and everything that's ever happened to me.
And when he said those things, fans couldn't help but rewind to that Oprah interview and realize it didn't age well at all. She wasn't listening, she was steering, and the street started catching on. Then Whoopi Goldberg's name entered the conversation, adding a whole new level to the mess. Whoopi and Oprah worked together on The Color Purple, a movie that boosted both their careers. But behind the scenes, things weren't as friendly as folks thought.
Make a movie, regardless of who you signed the deal with.
Yes.
Your job is to go and promote said movie. When they wanted you to come, and we've had this conversation, and I said if you had called me, I could have schooled you on what was expected.
Over the years, rumors started floating around about tension, that Whoopi didn't like how Oprah positioned herself as the soul of the story, or how she shaped narratives without checking in with anyone else. People even said Oprah stopped inviting Whoopi to her events, even when they were in the same city. And when Oprah tried to say years later, "We've always been fine," the body language said something totally different. Whoopi is known for telling the truth straight up. No sugarcoating, no pretend smiles. And on The View, she's made several comments that fans instantly connected back to Oprah. Comments about people who claim to help the culture but only help themselves. Comments about Hollywood double standards. And fans online, they don't miss anything. They clipped those moments, slowed them down, replayed them, and said, "Yeah, she talking about Oprah for sure." Then you got Chris Rock, the king of dropping truth bombs in the middle of jokes. Chris said something heavy once. Some people make it in this business because they're talented. Some people make it because they're obedient.
Dodge the conversation.
People throw millions of dollars in my face to do something I didn't want to do. And what? Just, you've been offered, yeah. Oh, they're in the room.
Yeah, I don't want to.
When he said obedient, the room shifted. Everybody in Hollywood knows what that word means. Some names float right to the top, and Oprah's name is one of them. She always plays perfectly by the rules of the system that made her rich, and she expects people around her to fall in line the same way. What made it even deeper is that Chris Rock once turned down a tell-all interview with Oprah. He straight up said he didn't need to be saved on TV. That was a subtle shot, but a powerful one. He was basically saying he wasn't going to let Oprah turn his personal story into her big televised moment. Then there's Kevin Hart. Kevin stays cautious, stays diplomatic, stays in the safe lane because he knows how Hollywood works. But even he couldn't help but comment when Monique went to war with Oprah and Tyler Perry.
Books I've ever read, but Oprah at one point like touted it as like, you know, she did like their Oprah book club where it was like she'd get these great books. But then it came out that the story wasn't a true autobiography to it. And he got ripped online.
Yeah.
Into a billion little pieces.
To say like his account was falsified and then he had to go like on an apology tour and all this stuff, and it was like, dude, our entertainment is going to be hype.
Kevin didn't choose sides publicly, but the way he talked about it, soft voice, careful tone, tight wording, fans noticed everything. He once said, "The business is what it is," which is code for there are people you don't cross out loud, because everyone knows if you cross Oprah publicly, opportunities get quiet real fast. And then we get to James Frey, the author who had one of the most unforgettable moments on Oprah's stage, and not in a good way. James wrote A Million Little Pieces, a memoir about addiction that went viral after Oprah chose it for her book club. Sales shot through the roof, the book blew up everywhere, and James became a household name overnight.
Millions.
Your daughters came to you and said, look, this guy is doing to me what the allegations are against you.
Then I would have to arrest myself after I did what I had to do.
But then the smoking gun exposed parts of the story as fabricated, and that's when Oprah flipped the script in a way nobody expected. Instead of having a private discussion or handling it behind closed doors, she dragged James onto her show and confronted him with millions watching. She grilled him, scolded him, pressed him with question after question. He sat there looking crushed while Oprah unleashed heavy criticism in front of the entire country. At the time, people praised her for standing up for truth. But years later, that whole moment looked different, way different. James Frey later said she didn't want honesty. She wanted a spectacle. And that one line sent shockwaves through the whole Oprah is pure goodness narrative. Because a spectacle, that means she wasn't protecting truth. She was protecting her brand. And when fans look back at that episode with modern eyes, it suddenly felt cold, strategic, almost rehearsed, like she wasn't talking to him, but at him. And just like that, everything Katt Williams said about her wanting control over people's stories started lining up with real receipts. Once people made those connections, social media went into full detective mode. Old Oprah clips resurfaced, interviews where she pressed guests too hard, moments where she assumed things instead of listening, situations where she laughed at trauma or steered conversations to serve her own storyline. They weren't obvious back then because Oprah was the queen, the gold standard, the voice of America's heart. But now, in today's world, those same clips feel different. They feel loaded. Then people started revisiting Oprah's relationships with Monique, Iyanla Vanzant, Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, folks who all came up with her but eventually distanced themselves. In each situation, fans noticed a pattern. Once someone stepped outside Oprah's control, things got shaky, opportunities slowed down, relationships cooled off, careers took a hit. Monique even said straight up that Oprah hurt her career by pushing a narrative and then stepping back when conflict came. And whether people agreed with Monique or not, they couldn't deny one thing. Too many people were saying the same type of stuff about Oprah for it to be ignored. The idea of Oprah being untouchable was fading fast. The internet was watching, the comedians were talking, and the patterns were starting to look real, not random. So now the picture looks bigger, wider, and way more complicated than the perfect image Oprah spent years building. For a long time, she was the voice that shaped the conversation, what to read, what to learn, what to believe, what to feel. She was the moral compass of Hollywood, the woman who gave away cars, built schools, and turned emotional stories into worldwide moments. But the same power that made her iconic also created shadows. And once people started looking into those shadows, they found questions nobody asked before. They found patterns that didn't fit the saintly Oprah image at all. They found clips of her handling guests in ways that didn't look protective. They looked controlling. They found moments where she pushed narratives instead of letting people speak freely. And that's where the comedians stepped in, not with anger, but with truth wrapped in jokes. Comedy has always been the place where the real story leaks out. Katt Williams talked about Hollywood messing with your image and selling it back to you. Dave Chappelle talked about walking away from money to keep his soul. Whoopi Goldberg talked about people who pretend to help the culture but only help themselves. Chris Rock talked about obedience being the price of success. Kevin Hart talked carefully because he knew exactly how deep the politics run. Every one of those comments points toward the same mountain, and Oprah is standing right at the top of it. Then came the viral compilations. Videos of comedians speaking on Oprah, breaking down old moments, analyzing her moves, connecting dots the average viewer missed. A 27-minute clip went viral showing entertainer after entertainer raising concerns, and the internet reacted fast. Younger audiences who didn't grow up watching Oprah started questioning her role in shaping Hollywood culture. Older viewers started re-examining old episodes with new eyes. Suddenly, Oprah wasn't the untouchable queen anymore. She was part of a system that people are finally brave enough to challenge. What's wild is how fast opinions switched once the cracks showed. People who once praised her now looked unsure. People who grew up watching her now wondered what was real and what was manufactured. The myth around her started dissolving, replaced by a more complicated, more human, and sometimes more controversial picture. Oprah still got billions. She still got influence. She still got followers who ride for her. But now there's another side of the story, a side shaped by comedians, authors, and entertainers who aren't scared to pull the curtain back and show what's been hiding there for decades. And once people see behind that curtain, it's almost impossible to unsee it. Now her entire legacy sits in a strange middle ground, half legendary, half question. She still represents success, inspiration, and power, but now people also see the system behind that success and the people who felt pushed, controlled, or misrepresented along the way. Oprah always built her empire on storytelling, but now the story being told about her is shifting, and she can't control this one the same way she controlled those interviews. Katt Williams once said that truth wrapped in pain hits different, and that's exactly what's happening here. These comedians aren't just making jokes, they're unpacking decades of quiet tension out loud. They're giving language to things people felt but couldn't articulate. They're shining lights in places nobody dared touch because Oprah was simply too powerful to challenge publicly. But times changed. Social media changed the rules. Receipts live forever. And people don't just accept the polished version anymore. They look for what's underneath. The new generation isn't scared to say, maybe this ain't what we thought. The old generation is now rewatching her early interviews with a fresh lens. The people in the industry who once whispered concerns are now saying them out loud, and the once untouchable reputation is now something the internet debates openly. Does that erase the good Oprah did? No, but it does force people to look at the whole picture, not just the highlight reel. A powerful figure can inspire millions and still have flaws. They can uplift some people while overshadowing others. They can speak truth on camera while holding control behind the scenes. That duality is what people are finally confronting, and that's what makes this scandal so massive. It's not one moment, not one mistake, not one feud. It's a whole pattern across decades, now exposed by people with platforms strong enough to finally speak freely. Whether Oprah responds, whether she ignores it, or whether she tries to reframe the conversation, one thing is clear: the era of Oprah being untouchable is over. The era of Oprah being questioned deeply, openly, loudly is here. And now the world is watching to see whether this is the start of a reputation shift or the beginning of a full legacy rewrite. If you want more deep breakdowns, more behind the scenes truth, and more stories Hollywood wishes stayed quiet, make sure you like and subscribe.